Hey everyone, this is Mrs. Holmes here to introduce your next unit using RAPD or RAPT to find websites for research. In this project, students will be evaluating websites for quality and using a variety of sources to find information. Fourth graders will be finding information on New York state symbols. Fifth graders will partner up with somebody in their class and choose a state from across our country to create an ABC book. The next video in this lesson will show you how to do the PowerPoint from scratch. You will need to watch this whole video. You might want to pay close attention because in order to continue, you must take a quiz and get a score of 80%. Don't worry if you get a lower score though. There's a way to review the information and quickly take the quiz again. Let's get started with the learning. I know we all love Google. Mrs. Holmes uses it for a lot of things. I look up phone numbers, find restaurants that are close to my house, and just like everyone else, I Google for information. Information, or facts, didn't used to be so easy to find, like on Google. Back when Mrs. Holmes was in school, we had to search through huge books, every shelf of the library, magazines, and those old dusty encyclopedias. It took a lot of work to find just the right information. Nowadays, there is information everywhere. On your tablet, your phone, your computer, your laptop, your PlayStation and Xbox, you can access facts and information from a variety of places. But how do we decide what is good information? To begin this lesson, you need to first learn and review some very important terms. A browser is the program you use to access the internet. Examples of internet browsers are Internet Explorer, the blue E, Mozilla Firefox, the orange box, and Google Chrome, the colorful circle. Typically in school, for projects, we would prefer that you use the blue Internet Explorer to access the internet. Hold up, what is the internet? The internet is a worldwide network or connection of computers. People sometimes think of the internet as like a cloud in space. It's not really in space though. Sometimes the internet is connected through cords and wires like Ethernet cables, phone lines, and even fiber optic wiring buried underground and even under the ocean floor. Is the web and the internet the same thing? Actually, it's not. The World Wide Web, where we get www from, is emails, blogs, instant messaging, games online, and places we can share files. Now here's an interesting fact. Web pages and websites are not actually the same thing. A website is a collection of web pages that belong to one owner or company, the big yellow smiley face. A web page is a single document, a single page on the website. So think about all the other little smiley faces being single web pages that are connected to the big website. Now, a search engine is a website that helps you find other websites on the internet. Search engines do not always search the whole World Wide Web. Some different search engines are Google, Bing, Yahoo, and Ask. Typically, we do use Google for school projects because it is the easiest for students to use. Although a search engine is a website, it is not the place you get your information or facts. It is a tool that you use to find facts on different websites and web pages. This is important to remember as we begin to ask you the source of your information. The source is the place you got the fact. You would not write down Google as a source. Instead, you would list the website you chose from your Google search results. Confusing, right? Keep going. Now let's talk a little bit about searching Google. First, most search engines like it when you search using simple words and phrases. These are called keywords. You cannot type in a whole question and expect to get results you can trust. An example would be, instead of typing in Google, who is the governor of New York State, just type the keywords New York governor. After you decide what keywords to use in your search, you are going to get a ton of results. Results are another way of saying the list of websites and web pages that Google has found that match your keyword search. There may be hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions if the topic is very popular. You cannot always go right to the first website. This is particularly important when you are using Google because many times Wikipedia is the first result. Wikipedia is a source, a place to get information that can be used, but you need to do a lot of fact checking first. It is best to just skip over Wikipedia for now. We will get into that later in our school year. Given that our search engine, Google, has returned hundreds and thousands of websites on our results page, how on earth do we find the right website or web page to use? There are many ways to evaluate or choose a website. I have created a pretty simple checklist to keep in the back of your mind as you are choosing websites to use, especially when you are doing school projects. Just keep these 4 letters in the back of your head. RAPD. For the next few projects, we will be really thinking and learning about RAPD, RAPD, and the websites we choose. As you get better at evaluating websites, it will come very naturally and you won't have to think about it too much and we won't have to review it over and over again. The first letter in RAPD, R, stands for readable. When you choose a website, do a quick scan. Is it readable? Words, phrases, bold text, headings, and other text features should stand out to you. Since you are in elementary school, you should be looking for websites that you can read and understand. Just like when we choose a Just Right book in library, think about the writing on the web page. Is it too easy, too hard, or just right? Now, even though a website might be too hard, you can still use some strategies to read difficult web pages. But you just don't want to spend all day finding one fact, do you? Practice using the skills of skimming and scanning to find words and phrases that you can read. Here is an example of a very readable web page for an elementary school student. There are bold words and headings at the beginning of each section. There is even a very simple drawing that is labeled, which is another place to easily gather important facts. Now, here is one from Wikipedia. Think about how different this website is from the last one. There are not as many headings. You would have to read, skim, or scan the whole web page to find information. Why spend valuable time doing that? So this is a website that I would not consider readable for an elementary school student. A stands for authorship. You need to know who the author of the website is. Is it a person or a group? Is it a school or a business? The name or the group who is responsible for the site has to be clearly stated. It should be obvious to you. If you can't find out who wrote the information, it is probably not a website to use for a school or work project. The person or company should be experts at what they are writing about. You don't want a website written by a 5-year-old. You want a website written by a person who has spent their entire life learning and studying the topic. Similarly, you wouldn't want to use a website about football that was created by a sports drink company, would you? They are not experts in football. Do they have a different angle? Can you trust them to give you correct facts? Organizations like colleges, museums, and usually the government are great places to start. After doing a quick Google search for ancient Egypt, a topic that you will learn about in 6th grade, one of the best sites I found by a trustworthy author or company was this site from the British Museum. If a museum can't get it right, that's a problem. Here's a tricky one. It does say that this website is made by this woman, Crystal. The author is actually into metaphysics and spirits. I had to do a little digging. She says sometimes her information comes from the spirits that talk to her, and that's why she's an expert. The website looks good otherwise, so it's super important to do some digging, or just go with a trustworthy person or company that we can easily figure out if they're experts or not. P stands for purpose. This ties in a lot with the author or writer of the website. What was their purpose for making the web page? Just like when you are reading books, you want to think about pie. Pie. Ask yourself if this website was made to persuade, inform, or entertain. If the website is created by a business or someone trying to persuade you to buy something, the information on it might not be accurate. It may be opinion and not fact. If the website was made to entertain, it might look really cool and fun to be on, but there might not be the information and facts you need for a project. The websites we are looking for are the ones that were meant to inform or teach us. Here's an example of why thinking about purpose is important. This website on climate is written by a group of people who don't want you to believe the climate is changing. They are not scientists or weathermen. They are trying to persuade you to believe in their opinion. The website might have some information, but are they trying to make you believe something that's not true? Lastly, D stands for design. Just take a look at the website. Is it easy to read? Are there headings? Is it easy to navigate or get around? Try not to choose a website with a lot of advertisements selling you things, or pop-ups like the ones that tell you, you've won a prize, come collect your iPad. Chances are, websites like these were not made to inform, and you could even end up with a virus on your computer. Here is a website that is so overwhelming. There are too many things to click and lots of advertisements. Would you get confused when trying to find information on this page? Lastly, this website was actually designed to be the world's worst website. There's too many colors, there's big pop-ups, advertisements, and it's just all around badly organized. These sites may look like good places for fun, but not for school research. That is very important to understand. What you may do for fun or use for just a quick fact is not necessarily the site you would use to write a research report or to find information for school or work. Do your digging and remember RAPD. Our next research and technology project will ask you to research a state from the United States of America if you're a 5th grader, or find some facts about New York State if you're a 4th grader. You will then use PowerPoint to create a presentation. You will need to find information from a variety of sources. You need to use 1 or 2 websites as a source and also a book. If you're in 5th grade, you will also be asked to use the online encyclopedia as a 3rd source. Now that you know all about the internet, web browsers, websites, search engines, and using RAPD, the next video is going to walk you through the steps of choosing a good website and taking down facts. Then it will show you some quick tips on how to put together a brand new PowerPoint presentation. Now, in order to start your research, you have to take an online quiz. The address of the online quiz is on the paper that's in front of you. Open up an internet browser, remember the blue E, and type in the website address in the address bar, not the Google search bar. Take the quiz. If you score an 80% or higher, you can begin the next step. If you score a 70% or lower, you need to go through the study cards at least once. At the top of the quiz page, you will see a link for study cards. Then you can take the quiz again. If you end up not passing more than 2 times, call Mrs. Holmes or your classroom teacher over and we will review the information with you one more time, and then you can begin your project. Happy researching and happy learning.